Python is, of course, text-based programming for older age than Minecraft, for example. It's going to be 10 to 15 years old. It starts from complete beginning. You don't really have to have experience in programming. We do suggest that you get a little bit of experience with block-based before turning to the text-based, because it's just a good way to move on with programming. But you can be a complete beginner in that. And the course is called Python Mastery. So the camp is also so we have 3 classes: Python 1, Python 2, Python 3. Python class 1 is mainly about about drawing in Python. So they learn all the cool concepts by drawing in Python. Let me show a little bit here. So they're drawing different shapes here. They're learning the for loops and loops inside the loop, and they're having fun with these cool shapes. Then they're moving to actually use the turtle commands to really build something meaningful, like a smiley face here, using all the different commands. Then we teach them things like variables, for example, where they have to have a single algorithm. Here you have all these 5 different algorithms to build a single algorithms that with variables will let students create any of those shapes. Then we move on to building house. So the cool thing about building a house is that we're basically building it to run with one function. So by just changing parameters in one function, you can have completely different sizes and colors of the houses, and at the same time they will all look still like the house, right? Like you can see here, if we run the code, it draws right in front of our eyes, right? So we get these different houses, and all we need to do is change parameter here. For example, the size from 150 to 50, we can change colors to, and we get a different house that is all drawn completely correctly. As I wanted to show you here, all these cool shapes you can create right on the fly here. And getting back to my presentation. Yes, to build the house, they will be deeply immersed into the coordinates and how to actually find the coordinate using a single parameter. I think it's also pretty cool and knowledgeable for them. Then we'll move on, because they will study a lot of function use. After that, we will move on to actually show them what recursive functions are, which is a little bit maybe complicated for them, but I thought it would be cool for them to see how they can have the similar things built that they've done, but now using recursive functions instead of loops. Okay, and then finally, from the drawing, we move to chatbots. Okay. So we're going to teach them how to create your own chatbots that will be talking to you. And there are steps that they have to go through to build those chatbots. And while they're building it, they're learning a lot of cool concepts. Like, first of all, before you start talking to the bot, you gotta be identified with credentials, right? So you insert your password. They learn the conditionals by that. Once they enter the password, they're able to get into the menu to choose what they want to do, and the chatbot will be able to completely analyze their sentence. So it's going to break their sentence into the words, and it's going to analyze each word to see if it correlates with the keywords that it's looking for. For example, if it finds the word quiz in there, it's going to send you to the function quiz, where you will be playing quizzes with your chatbot, things like that. And finally, we will introduce the chatbots. Chatbots. So the while loops in chatbots. So you can constantly loop inside your menu. If you, for example, get the bad input or something like that, you still stay in the menu, and you can only quit it by typing in quit, which will trigger your variable quit, Boolean variable quit, to turn to be true, and you will jump out of the loop. So a lot of different concepts, just starting by drawing and then by creating those chatbots. We have also lesson 3, Python, which is not going to be included in the camp, but you can take it afterwards, where we will be teaching object-oriented programming. I would say it's a little bit advanced course. Let me just, I should have it here with me. It's a bit more advanced course where we're teaching kids to build their own game, and it's going to be a paddleball game. So it's gonna, as you can see here, and this is a little bit small, but you can see the paddle and then the ball that is bouncing around. So we teach kids object-oriented programming, how to build classes, how to build objects out of classes, how the classes interact with each other. Like we have two objects here, right? Paddle and the ball, and they do interact with each other. They're touching, they're bouncing off, and you know, we're at the same time they are learning all the different other concepts which are inside object-oriented programming. But certainly they need to have 2 lessons taken before they move on to the 3rd level, because it's really complex, and we want them to have that base knowledge from camp or 2 levels. So what else? I think that's mainly what I wanted to say. I might have forgotten something, so you can you know, go ahead and ask me questions if you have.
No specific questions on Python. I think there was one question if your presentation is specifically limited to beginner, but I think it was covering all 3 levels. Your presentation.
Yes, it covers all 3. We have level 1, level 2, which is a camp, right? And we have level 3, which is what you can take after level 2 or after taking a camp. And level 3, I would say it's a pretty big step after level 2, but it's good enough if you take in level 1 and 2. But level 1 does start from the complete beginning. So if you are 10 years old, you don't even have to have the programming experience to enroll.
Yes. Okay, so Sarvan, do you want to take over?
Okay, I think there's a specific question about what is level 1 and what is level 2. Andre, can you cover that? Like, what is exactly covered in level 1 for beginners, for people who have never done any code?
So as I was going through, level 1 covers mostly, you know, we're drawing internal and covering concepts like loops, functions, variables.
Can you show the slide? I think there's some drawing that you had. Can you show your slide? Because you're still presenting right now. Excellent. Thank you. So go back to the level 1. Yeah.
So level 1 starts here. Project of the day. They're covering variables, and I just, you know, they're covering variables. Then they're covering functions, but just starting up with those. And then level 2. You know, they're really covering functions with parameters, and they're like, you know, building all these functions, function within the function, so they get to kind of review what they've done in level 1, and then, you know, get more exposed into that. Then they start study the recursive functions. It's all in level 2, and then they will move on to chatbots, which is you know, half of level 2. They're working on their chatbots. So you will have 2.5 hours of level 2 still drawing, and the other half is completely based on chatbots. So this is, and level 3 is object-oriented programming. So this is how it all splits up.